Welcome to the April edition of the AJP-Heart and Circulatory Physiology video table of contents, or from the editor's desk. We're starting spring in the Northern Hemisphere with some great cardiovascular science. We have an outstanding review, an editorial focus, and of course, great original research in this month's issue. Here's just a sample of what's in the issue. A review by Conklin et al. Discusses cardiovascular injury associated with the use of new tobacco products and the changes in biomarkers of cardiovascular harm that are sensitive to the use of combustible cigarettes, preclinical changes contributing to the pathogenesis of disease, and organ-specific dysfunction gauged by measuring endothelial function, flow-mediated dilation, platelet aggregation, and arterial stiffness, and organ-specific injury could be evaluated by measuring endothelial microparticles and platelet leukocyte aggregations, as discussed in this interesting review. Ayaz et al. Evaluated the impact of long-term gonadectomy on cardiac contractile function in the setting of aging. Male mice were subjected to bilateral gonadectomy, or sham operation, and investigated at 16 to 18 months of age. Peak calcium transients and contractions were similar in gonadectomized and sham-operated mice, although calcium transients and contractions were prolonged in gonadectomized mice. Western blots of proteins involved in calcium sequestration and efflux showed that sodium-calcium exchanger and sarcoplasmic reticulum calcium ATPase type 2 protein levels were unaffected, whereas phospholamban was dramatically higher in ventricles from aging gonadectomized mice. Thus, dysregulation of intracellular calcium and myofilament dysfunction contribute to deficits in contraction in hearts from testosterone-deficient aging mice. Sancho et al. Examined inward rectifying potassium channels in the rodent cerebral circulation and the distance over which electrical phenomena spread along the arterial wall. They sought to translate these observations into human cerebral arteries obtained from resected brain tissue. In keeping with rodent observations, computer modeling highlighted that KIR blockade should constrict cerebral arteries and attenuate electrical communication if functionally expressed. Surprisingly, barium had no effect on human cerebral arterial tone or intracellular conduction. In alignment with these observations, immunohistochemistry and patch clamp electrophysiology revealed minimal KIR channel expression and activity in both smooth muscle and endothelial cells. They conclude that KIR channel expression is limited in human cerebral arteries from patients with epilepsy and thus had little impact on resting tone or the spread of vasomotor responses. Lee and co-workers determined whether eicosapentaenoic acid, EPA, docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, and olive oil, OO, a source of monounsaturated fat, differentially affected resting hemodynamics and muscle sympathetic nerve activity. 86 healthy young men and women were recruited to participate in a 12-week randomized double-blind trial examining the effects of oral supplementation of these agents. Both EPA and DHE supplements increased the omega-3 index. Reductions in systolic blood pressure were greater after DHE and OO compared with EPA. Reductions in diastolic blood pressure were greater following DHE and OO compared with EPA. Muscle sympathetic nerve activity burst frequency was higher after DHA, but not after OO, compared with EPA. Overall, DHA and OO evoke similar responses in resting blood pressure. However, DHA, but not OO, increased peripheral vasoconstrictor outflow. These findings may have implications for fatty acid supplementation in clinical populations characterized by chronic high blood pressure and sympathoexcitation. Finally, Dakalova et al. Determined if reactive oxidant species modulate sodium-coupled neutral amino acid transporter 1 expression in pulmonary artery endothelial cells from newborn piglets, and to evaluate the role of NADPH oxidase 1, or NOX1, an uncoupled endothelial nitric oxide synthase enzymatic source of ROS in hypoxia-induced increases in amino acid transporter 1 expression. Treatment with either hydrogen peroxide or xanthine plus xanthine oxidase increased amino acid transporter expression in pulmonary artery endothelial cells from newborn piglets cultured under normoxic conditions. Hypoxia-induced increases in amino acid transporter expression were inhibited by treatments with the ROS-removing agents catalase and superoxide dismutase, also inhibited by NOX1 siRNA. The authors conclude that amino acid transporter expression 1 is modulated by ROS in pulmonary artery endothelial cells. However, ROS-mediated decreases in amino acid transporter 1 expression per se do not implicate a reduction in NO production. Thank you for watching the April edition of the AJP-Heart and Circulatory Physiology video table of contents. If you happen to watch this video before you get to EB, please stop by the AJP booth and say hello. Don't forget, the journal is hosting a great symposium where our associate editors will be giving state-of-the-art talks in various fields represented by the journal. This is on Tuesday, April 9th at 1:30 in the Convention Center, room W308AB. We hope to see you there, and please don't forget to send us your best work